Hey guys, how you guys doing today? Today we're going to be doing an unboxing of the new HEYBIKE Mars 2.0. This is the new 1000 watt motor version. It supposedly is 1000 watts. We'll have to look at the hub and see. Still comes with the same size battery as the older or the previous generation, or the lower model I should say, 750 watt. This one is also supposed to have hydraulic disc brakes, so we'll see what's inside the box and we'll go from there. At first glance, the box is a little bit beat up, so I'm kind of worried. Staples weren't doing staple things anymore. But realistically, it doesn't look like anybody's been in here. So let's take a look at this. The box does say to keep the package for 30 days. I'm guessing that's if you need to box it up and return it if there's problems. This is my second HEYBIKE Mars. The original one that I got is the 750 watt version. Which has the mechanical disc brakes. I've seen some mixed reviews about them. I was able to adjust mine and get them to work pretty well for a mechanical disc brake. Let's take a quick look-see. They really do package these bikes up pretty nice. Lots of bubble wrap. There we got toolkit, instruction manual, the pedals, which look like they're the same pedals from the previous version, and the 54.6 volt 2 amp charger. That's going to be important. Set all this stuff to the side. See what else we got in here. I mean, there is a ton of bubble wrap in this thing. I'm already hearing pieces and parts falling. Alright. At first glance, doesn't look like I see any major damage. Like I said, they do a pretty decent job of packing them. The front tire is definitely low on wind. Let's go ahead and lift this bad girl out. All right, and this is how it comes, all zip tied together, ready for it to transform. Probably could have done a little bit better job of packing the battery in there. My last one, I did have some battery problems with it from the factory, but after a little bit of time, the company did resolve the problem, and they took a little while, but ultimately, at the end of the day, they were really good to work with. Full charge, battery turns on and off. Looks like it's in good condition. Set that off to the side, and let me grab a pair of cutters. All right, pair of side cutters. Now be careful not to cut anything important. Get these zip ties out of the way. When you're cutting these zip ties, guys, make sure you try to get a place where you're not going to scuff up your paint or anything like that. Don't need any unnecessary damage. Alright. Yeah, pretty much the same front wheel as the other one. Actually, the rotors look a little different. This tire, like I said, is low on air. comes with the standard HEYBIKE Mars rack, which at first I didn't think I was going to like this rack, but as it turns out, you can add quite a bit of stuff to this rack. It does hold quite a bit of weight, pretty well built. As you can see, transportation, it does have some scuffs and scratches in it. Probably could have had a little bit more bubble wrap. We'll see how it bolts on. The last one I had, you had to tweak it a little bit to get it to go on, but not a big deal. Things like that are going to happen anyway. So let's get the rest of these sides done. I mean, they use some zip ties on this thing, and they're real high quality ones too. The other thing I like about this is the brake light is actually a brake light. It's not just a light. When you squeeze on the brake, the light does flash. Little added safety. Front fender. Get out of here. This time I went with the gray. My other bike is the black version. I did notice on their website, if you get the orange version, if you choose that one, for some reason it was offering like $50 off. I don't know if it's because they don't sell a lot of them or not as high demand or whatever the case may be. But I really wanted the gray one. So that's what I pulled the trigger on. The suspension forks are a sprung suspension fork, not a gas oil-filled suspension fork, which would have been nicer, but obviously would have added to the cost of the bike. This one here on their website is, I think it was $11.99 or something like that, Labor Day deal. I'm not sure. I think I ended up getting an extra $50 off with their discount coupon. Oh, hopefully that's not really damaged too bad. Looks like the screen has got some marks on it. Control screen. Hopefully the screen's not broken. If it is, that's going to be a bit of an issue. So we're going to put this thing together. This is the folding mechanism, and it's a little bit weird to get everything centered on it. The seat, it is a suspension seat post, fairly nice. One thing I do like about it is it's got the lever on the back. Seat flips up to make it easier to get the battery in and out of the bike. Otherwise, it is kind of cumbersome. You can do it, but it's just not the easiest. I did notice on my other one that I had to adjust the seat quite a bit to get those creature comforts online. this little snug here so we can flip the bike over and get the tire and such on it. All the tools to put this together, they provide you in a little kit. Now I'm not going to tighten this down a whole bunch. I just want the handlebars to not fall off as we're assembling it. You have to excuse the sweating. It is hotter than heck in my garage right now. I am going to pull this protective cover off the screen. I want to see if the screen is damaged. No, it is not. The screen was scuffed up pretty bad, the cover, but the screen itself looks like it's fine. We'll have to see when we fire it up what happens. Okay. Let's snug that down. Now remember, I'm just giving this a quick little snug down because we got to flip it over and put the tire on it and get that part of it done, and then we'll finish aligning the rest of the necessities. That's weird. They do not give you an Allen wrench for the display. It's a 2. Nope, I was wrong again. 2.5. This looks up. Try to get this straightened out a little bit. The other bike I had, when I received it, it was missing one of these screws. It's just an M3 screw. Now you can probably see, I don't know if you can see it in the video, let me take a look. Yeah, so I flipped that screen all the way down just so it's not resting on the ground when I flip the bike over. And I'm gonna have to flip the bike over to get the wheel on it and everything. It makes it a little bit easier. I want to run over my light, kick that over to the side. Rear fender's still loose, that's okay. All we're going to do is give this a quick flip over. And stand it up like such. Now what we do with this is we just kind of use it to prop up the back of the bike and hold it in place. This little bar here is just a spreader bar. They install this just to keep the fork from getting bent or dinged up or anything like that, so that you can get the front tire on it. This does come with the hardware already installed. Loosen that up. It does have some little locks on there that you got to get into these little holes in the fork, and that keeps your bike from losing a front wheel when you're out riding if your bolts come loose. You slide right in. This one slid right in. Now before you tighten these down, give it a little spin just to make sure that nothing's binding. And then we'll grab their provided wrench, which is a 15. And we're going to give that just a little snug. I do have to say that the tools they provide you with are not the highest quality tools. They'll get the job done, but I'm not going to use that. will actually grab a ratchet and a socket. You want to get these snug, but they don't have to be ridiculous. This is actually quite a long ratchet, so you can put some power on it. You don't want to strip anything out. Alright, so that's the front fender on. I do hear the brakes dragging a little bit. You don't want to leave it upside down for too long, because the way hydraulic brakes work is if there is any air in the line, the air is going to go up, and then you're going to have to re-bleed your brakes, which if you have hydraulic brakes, you should probably learn how to do anyway, or have a local bike shop that you're comfortable with. But that's pretty much it for installing the wheels. While we have it this way, let's go ahead and throw the pedals on. And the pedals again are pretty straightforward. If you've ever worked on a bicycle before, you know you got right-handed threads and left-handed threads, and they're marked right and left. Yeah, so crank is marked right. This will be a standard right-handed thread, so it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And this one is lefty-tighty, righty-loosey, and if you're going from the opposite side, they turn in the same direction. So if I'm tightening this one this way, I tighten this one this way, left-handed threads. Kind of simple. And one thing I do like about these is they come with an Allen key port in the back, so that you can basically put your Allen wrench in there and spin them without having to put a wrench on there and take a bunch of time. Once you get them in there, it's a little stank to them. Look at that, the cadence sensor was kind of popped out on this one. Turn this one a little bit. Again, turn it the same way as the other pedal if you're standing on the right side of the bike. We'll give this one a quick snug. Alright. Now let's check out this motor. 48 volts. It is branded HEYBIKE. It does not say anything about 1,000 watts on it. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. I did notice on my other bike that the motor connection was loose. This one seemed like it was a little loose too. That's one thing you guys are going to have to check on your bike. So let's flip this thing back over. We'll get the fenders mounted up, get the rear rack on it. But I mean, we're real close here, guys. I mean, there's not a lot of assembly on these bikes. Drop this guy down. I mean, I really like the color on this bike. Kind of scratched, but I mean, it's gonna happen. Horn, which has got some saran wrap or something on it. And this horn just kind of sandwiches between the fender on these bikes. Got the extra keys. Cool. Like I said, this is going to need some air. Charger, screws. Let's look in here. Fender came with no screws. Let me look through the box and see if there's screws in there. found them. That must be what I heard fall. What did I do with the fender? Oh, there it is. Alright. So these fenders are pretty easy to install. On my last one, I mounted it in the front, but what I didn't like was it lifted this up a little bit too high, and I was getting mud thrown at the bottom of my bike. So on this one, I think I'm going to mount everything from behind and see if I can get a little bit more out of it. No, you know what? I'm just going to mount it the other way. And I'm going to 3D print a mud flap for it. So keep your eyes out for 3D printed mud flaps for HEYBIKEs. I don't know about you, but I don't like mud all up in my stuff. And they do provide you with all the tools. They aren't the best of quality, but they will do the job. I guess it's not that they're not the best of quality, they're just not as quite as refined as all my Snap-on and Mac stuff, but then again, it's probably nowhere near the cost. Again, this light just kind of sandwiches between the fender mount onto this little bracket here. Just gonna get it lined up and snug it down. Alright, and there's some little silver bolts that they already have set here for the rear mount. Loosen those guys up. Snug, fender mounted. And one of the things I really do like about this is being a folding bike. You know, you buy a folding bike so that you have the convenience of toting it around or storing it wherever you need to store it. The other one I have, identical frame, different motor, different brakes. I'm able to have the large basket on the back, fold it up, and put it in the back of my 2003 Honda Accord. So that just goes to show how much these things actually fold up. That small. Now make sure when you guys are putting this together that you're actually going over all the bolts. You want to make sure that all of them are snug, because you don't want to rely on somebody else at the factory, you know, had put this thing together and it's not right. Do yourself a favor and check it out and just make sure that it's right. actual Allen keys, and I have lots of tools, so I'm going to use a ratchet wrench. If you got the right tool, use it. My last one I bought from the Amazon website, and I did not know, but the Amazon site and the HEYBIKE website actually work separate of each other. So if you have an issue, make sure that you're emailing them, and have patience. Okay, there's a lot of logistics that go into selling and transporting and having warehouses and everything like this. All these bikes are produced in China. They're all produced overseas. I'm sure you've all been on the internet and seen some that look similar to another one. You can see videos on YouTube about how they're made, where they're made, and all that. So just try to have patience with the customer service people. They're doing the best that they can with what they have to work with, right? When you're dealing with shipping companies and other companies overseas, and another company makes the batteries, and they take a beating sometimes, and a lot of times it's not the customer service people. You know, they're just there to try to make it right. When you're buying something from overseas, it's really hard to always manage what you're getting, right? This fender's got a little bit of buckle in it, but I'm sure that's just because the way it was boxed, it'll come out. Let's tweak that around a little bit. Part of me is not a fan of the plastic fender, but a part of me is, only because they don't ding. You don't have to worry about them corroding. I take mine in the sand. The other one that I have, I've ridden down the beach. I actually have it set up as a fishing bike. It's got fishing pole holders on it. I'm able to get quite a bit of distance out of it. I'm 240 pounds, and it hauls me through the sand, not through the fluffy stuff, the soft pack fluffy stuff between the car and the beach they have a walking mode. We'll talk about that. It's not that great, but once you get down on the hard pack stuff, I mean, it goes too fast. So you don't have to worry about not having enough power. This one having the 1,000-watt motor, I'm guessing it's going to be even faster. I still don't know, if the physics are there to get it through the sandy stuff. So now we're going to try to get this up on here. This is one of those things I recommend getting all the bolts started before you tighten any of them down. There is a little bit of play in the rack itself to move it back and forth. I mean, right off the get-go, this one seems like it's fitting better than the one on my other bike. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. And you just try to line this up nice and straight. Run the bolts in. Now again, all of these bolts, once I get this all built and make sure that everything is doing what it's supposed to do, I'll ride it around a little bit, and then I'll take off each one of these bolts, and I'll put a little bit of blue Loctite on there, just to ensure that vibration and things like that aren't going to make me lose my rack or my gear or whatever else, or a tire fall off. A little bit of safety, that's all I'm saying. I do like the routing of the hydraulic disc brakes. I was skeptical of how they were going to route these with the folding mechanism, but it looks like everything's going to clear really nice. And I do see it, the sticker over here on the side. Power 1000 watts. Okay, so there it is. 12.5 amp hour battery. Top speed of 28 miles an hour. This is a class 3 e-bike. Now I have seen reports that this model here will do 32 miles an hour. That I'm not sure about, but we will find out. Rear light, there is zip tie provisions on the left side of this rack to where you can run the cable for this and zip tie everything up real nice. We use a couple little 10mm nuts, which I did this on the last one. If I was smart, I would have put the tail light on first, but it's not that big of a deal. And again, I'm going to grab a 10mm socket. Because I can. Try to center the tail light up best you can. And it's not a 10. Go figure. Turns out it's an 8. Now when you put all this on, you're going to notice the rack kind of sits over to one side. You're going to say, wow, this thing's not aligned. Well, you have this 7-speed cassette on the back, so the whole rim has to be shifted over to one side. So the rim shifts over to one side, the rack stays nice and center. Not a big deal. These are the zip ties it comes with. And over on the side of the rack, you can't see it here, but I'll give you guys a little walkthrough of it. That's where the cables get zip tied on, so you just kind of run them through and don't cinch them all the way down yet. I've seen a lot of reviews on the Amazon website that are negative, and I just want to reach out and say that being a HEYBIKE owner, I have had some problems, and each and every one of them was resolved, and then some. They've been a great company to work with. They do care. Their response time is a little something to be desired, but I get it. You got a lot of customers, you got a lot of things to go through. I just want to reiterate that have patience, and good things come to those who have patience, right? I wouldn't have bought another one of these bikes had it not been for the fact that the first one I bought was such a nice bike. And I do mean that. This thing holds a lot of weight, super comfortable, ergonomic. Great bike. Great bike. But we still haven't plugged the battery in to see if it's going to do battery things. That's pretty much it. Everything back here is snugged up. I still need to adjust the handlebars, tighten down the stem and stuff like that once we get the handlebars aligned. But for the most part, that is the assembly of the HEYBIKE Mars 2.0. Pretty cut and dry, pretty easy. So let's flip this seat forward and drop this battery in. Okay, now the battery is in the off position right now. And we just kind of slide it in, give it a little tap, flip this on. The screen goes through the boot up procedures. Now it says off. Flip this forward a little bit so I can see it. Reach over, turn it on. There you have it. Pedal Assist 1, ready to go. Dynamite, ooh, that hydraulic brake feels nice. That is nice. Okay, that's way better than the mechanical disc brake on my other bike. The grips are really nice, like a sewn leather. All the plastic controls for the horn, the headlight, really nice. Very firm click. Everything works the way it's supposed to work. Let me finish tidying this up, getting some more stuff put on there, straighten out the handlebars, and I guess the next step is going to be get some air in the tires and take this for a ride. All right, guys, well, we got it all built, all accessorized. We got the new U-lock on it. This lock is awesome. The bracket is completely adjustable. You can adjust it however you want it. Simply twist and go. It is an awesome setup. It also came with this metal link style lock. Nice rack. I got the large rack accessory that came with the bike. This thing is pretty cool. It's got the hydraulic brakes on it. Looking at them, they are almost identical to the Tektro hydraulic disc brakes that I have on another standard bike. These ones are branded RSX. Here's our heads-up display, which also is pretty nice display. You've got your selector switches, plus and minus for pedal assist. You have your backlight button here. Then you have your information button up front. Over here you have your headlight and your horn button. Here's the grips I was talking about. Pretty comfortable, nice grips. Then coming down here to the battery, got the battery lock, battery charge indicator, hydraulic disc brakes. This is where the cable routing is for the rear tail light. It is up under here. Nice adjustable kickstand. Depends on what lean angle you want. These tires are pretty good too. I've heard some mixed reviews about them. I actually like them. I think they work pretty good in the sand. Like I said, my other bike, I haven't had a chance to get this one out yet in the sand or anything. I took it around the block. But in the sand, my other bike is dynamite. I'm in the process right now of 3D printing a mud flap to hook on the bottom of that so it doesn't kick sand up down here where the electronics are. This bike is fun though. It's got the integrated horn in the headlight, which inside it's obnoxious if you're in the garage and you hit the button, but out on the trail, it's just as annoying as the regular ding buttons that people use. Not quite as loud. Click the battery on, hit the indicator button, shows us we got a charge. This is the seat. The seat right here, adjust, you can lift it up so that you can slide the battery straight out. Nice feature. Nice feature. Come up to the heads up display and press and hold the button. It'll go through its boot up sequence. This little blue flashing light up here, that's for the Bluetooth enabled app. Now if you come over here and you hit this indicator button, it'll go from trip to odometer, your max speed, your average speed, how many volts your battery has, which I find to be a little bit more useful than the bars up at the top. The bars at the top, if you're in pedal assist 5 and you are just you know, feeding it the coals, that thing will drop down to 2 bars and kind of give you the feeling that your battery's running out. But it's kind of more how much drain, how much amperage is being pulled, I think. But 50.1 volts, that's still showing a full charge. As you can see, I've got 4.2 miles on it. I had to go out and see if this thing will do 32 miles an hour. I did get it up to 30 miles an hour, but I'm 240 pounds. And this, the basket and the battery and the locks and stuff that I've added onto it add quite a bit more weight. So the fact that I got it just over 30 miles an hour, 30, almost 31, that's saying something. Here's the pedals. They push and fold down so that you can get a little bit more storage area out of it. And you just twist them and lock them. This thing is pretty dynamite, guys. If you guys get a chance to ride one of these, or to find one Amazon deals or from the website, I recommend purchasing one. I really like it. It's been a great bike. When we come back, we'll do some footage, get it out on the sand and see if we can kill some perch. All right, guys, take it easy. All right, guys, here's a little clip of just some cruising around on the trail around my house. Hope you enjoy. See you next time.
You